Welcome, everyone, to our Self-Care in Stressful Times webinar series. We are so happy that you're here with us today, as we know that this is just a short refuge to come back home to yourself, to give yourself time to recalibrate, maybe learn some new tools, hopefully be inspired today as we hear the amazing Ruth Batton, a graduate of our program, share about her story of resilience and how, as a graduate instructor, she inspires so many other women through all of the programs that we have at Leap to Success. So Ruth, do you want to say hi and give a welcome to everyone?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here during this time with you, and hopefully we'll have a wonderful journey.
Thank you so much, Ruth. So we are going to hear so much more from Ruth, but I want to talk a little bit about resilience and about the importance. This month's theme has been, I am able to learn and grow. And we know that having a growth mindset, really focusing on our ability to develop our skills and learn new tools and lessons, that all of that allows us to be resilient. And there's no more important time to be resilient than in the middle of a pandemic. And each of us may be having our own challenges and our own difficulties, not just the collective ones we're experiencing, but our own personal transitions. And so it's so helpful to know that we can cultivate resilience and then have that to draw upon in times of challenge. And so that's really what we are going to explore today and deepen into, and understand that resilience can be cultivated. Just like self-care practices, just like nurturing ourselves, it's something over time that we can get, we can have more strategies and more tools to develop so that we're at a place that no matter what challenge we face, we have the confidence, the belief in ourselves, and know that we have the tools and skills to not just survive, friends, but to actually thrive. And we're certainly going to see an example of that when Ruth shares what she's learned through her practice and her process of developing resilience over the years. So I want to let you know a little bit. I'm Kelly Grimes. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for Leap to Success. And Leap to Success, we have, our mission is to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and any other major life challenge to reach their greatest potential. So actually, we are in the practice of teaching people resiliency skills and helping women return to the truth that they matter, that they are valuable, and to reclaim their voices to share that with the world. So we're so grateful for the work that we get to do, and we're really grateful to be able to offer this webinar series to our community partners, to our donors, to our graduates, to the wider community, because we know that we're all in this together, that all of us are required to help support the continued betterment of the world. And we know we have to start with ourselves. We have to start by cultivating compassion and kindness and love for ourselves as we spread that out in the world. And indeed, life hasn't gotten any more or any less stressful, I should say. It hasn't gotten any more less stressful because we're actually moving to a place where we're transitioning. Some people are transitioning back to work in person. Some people are transitioning back to school in person. As we move through and navigate all of the challenges this pandemic has invited us to really show up with our courage and strength and resilience with, we have another opportunity, right, to look at what's coming up for us. So we are going to look at and do a assessment of where are we at with our stress right now. We do that each time because we want to give everybody an opportunity to give a snapshot of where they are at the beginning of the webinar and at the end. So I'm going to invite you right now. I'm going to launch the poll and invite you right now, if you would, to rate your current level of stress. I talked to a colleague recently who said she finds it interesting that her level of stress really changes from week to week, so that it's a good practice. Looks like we have most of them in, and they are so varied today. It's so interesting. It looks like the majority of folks are up at about a 6. But guess what, friends? We have the whole continuum. We have somebody down at a 1 and we have somebody up at a 10. So we know that there is such a wide variety of such a wide variety. I'm going to share these results with you to see, but there's just such a wide variety of impact of stress, right? Not only our daily stress, but over time. So thanks for being here today. That highlights to me the importance of this time together. And I want to offer you, understanding that we're at all of these varied places, I want to offer you the guided meditation. And we always start with a meditation or some sort of mindfulness practice because we know that allows us to ground, to become present with ourselves, and to rejuvenate, right? Even if it's just for 5 minutes, the hope is that we feel a sense of renewal after we do that. So I want to share the meditation that I shared in our last episode, and it is a cultivating self-compassion guided meditation from Kristen Neff. And she is an expert in self-compassion and has shared this through the magazine Mindful. So I want to invite you to settle in, right? To find a comfortable and a kind posture. And if you are comfortable, close your eyes and soften them down. And come home to your body. Just notice how it feels to have your feet on the floor, your seat on the chair. Notice any internal sensations that may be arising right now. You might notice the beating of your heart. You might feel a sense of energy pulsing through your body. You can remind yourself that you're not just bringing awareness to your experience, but you're bringing a loving and kind awareness, right? This is where we invite in curiosity and non-judgment. And I invite you to adopt a physical gesture that might represent this caring attitude that you have for yourself. Sometimes it might be putting your hand on your heart. Another might be that you give yourself a soft hug. For others, it might be that you just, put your hands together and just have your head, down, just to recognize this deep and loving presence that you bring to yourself. And if you have placed your hand on your heart, you may notice the warmth, right? The warmth of your hand and your physical touch. Feel free to leave your hands on your heart if that's where you placed it for the entire meditation, or you can put them back down by your side. Now bring awareness to your breath. Take a few deep breaths in, these big inhalations and exhalations. If you are having any anxiety today, just allow yourself to exhale through your mouth. Allow yourself to release as you exhale. Then allow your breath to return to a normal, natural rhythm. And your mind will probably wander off as we do this guided meditation. And when it does, and you've noticed, simply call it back. Call your attention back with the same quality, the same kindness that you would a puppy that's wandered off. Just gently usher it back to this present moment where it needs to be. And then let your awareness rest in your breath again. Just simply paying attention to your breathing in and out. In and out. And recognize actually that you are nurturing yourself with each in-breath. Pay particular attention to the inhalation and notice that as you breathe, you are giving yourself what you need in this moment. You're nurturing yourself with each in-breath. And if you're struggling in any way in your life right now, breathe in some other quality that might be needed. Maybe it's kindness, love, compassion. Maybe it's courage. Breathe into this quality with each inhalation. And if there's a word that rests on the inhalation, maybe as you inhale compassion. Just let that word represent what you need in this moment. And see if there's a kind of a symbol that connects with that quality. Maybe it's a golden light or a quality of warmth. Allow yourself to really receive something good for yourself with each inhalation. And let yourself be fully absorbed by the breath of compassion. Breathe in, breathe out, compassion in, compassion out. No limits or boundaries to your compassion. Ride the compassion like waves on the ocean, just in and out, knowing that there's plenty of compassion, that you can offer yourself the same compassion that you offer to the world. And as you do, just let this ocean hold all the suffering in love and compassion. Any suffering you might be feeling, or your beloveds, or anyone in the world. Just the salve of compassion on any of our broken hearts. Now you release your focus on your breath and on this practice, and simply come back to your body. And allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling in this moment. And allow yourself to be exactly as you are. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes, to come back, to know that that place of compassion resides in you all the time. You can return over and over to that guided meditation, to that sense as you breathe in, you're breathing in compassion and you're breathing out compassion. And know, as we said last episode, compassion is a core part of building resilience. So I am so thrilled to welcome again my dear friend and colleague, Ruth Batton. Ruth, thank you so much for joining us today on Self-Care in Stressful Times. I'm really, really grateful that you're here.
No, it's my pleasure to always be with you, Kelly.
So, Ruth, you have graduated from every program of Leap to Success, and you have been an instructor of our Leap to Confidence program for the last 6 years. So you are an expert in so many ways, and I would like to ask you if you would share with us what are the most important lessons that you have learned as you've cultivated your own resilience.
I think the main one has been that life doesn't come with a roadmap. It just does not come with a roadmap, and that change is a part of it. And I had to just learn to embrace that. But of course, I had to go through the pity parties and all those other things first, and found that that's not where I wanted to be. So I had to dig within myself. What is this? What do I want for me? This is not where I want to be and get stuck in. So it's like I had to start digging deep inside and started embracing change. And that change was okay.
What difference did it make when you just embraced that you really were cultivating resilience, that you weren't any longer stuck in a place where you didn't know your value and worth, where you didn't feel like you had choice, right? Because you didn't
I didn't.
in what you experienced. So, what difference did it make when you acknowledged that you had choice and that you could actually choose tools that would shift you into another way of being?
Mm. First of all, once I learned I had choice, um, it gave me power.
Mm,
It gave me my self-esteem back, my self-worth, because I could trust in me that I could make my own decisions without help. Because being in a domestic violence situation, you don't have choice. That is not one of the things that you are allowed to have. And once I regained that, I became my own superwoman. I became my
mm.
own hero, because I knew it had to be within me. And I think I guard my choice with every ounce of me now, that because it's so important. But just that little twist of knowing that I had choice, a light bulb just went on. You know what? Everything you do is a choice. Your
Mm.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Powerful.
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 Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. What were some of the tools that you use to cultivate resilience and thrive as you do today?
I think the first thing was visualization. I had to visualize where I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. And then I started with self-awareness, that the power was within me, and I could accomplish anything that I really wanted to do. And that's when my affirmation became, I can, I will, watch me. And of course, mindfulness, spending that time, that quiet space, that quiet time to center myself, to deal with, connect with my spirituality. And, and then I went into self care, um, eating differently, you know, taking actually time to make myself look better so I could feel better. Because when you're in depression, you just really don't.
Mhm.
You don't care what you look like. And I had to
Mhm.
pull myself out of that, because I'm like, how I represent myself to me is also how I'm representing myself out into the world. And so and then again with I started developing positive relationships, surrounding myself with other people that were positive. And I think the very last thing was purpose,
Mm.
finding my purpose. And my purpose was to empower others, just because of what I have been through, so they could have an example of that it is possible. So I also call myself an instrument of hope for those that I instruct,
Mhm.
because it's empowering to see someone that has overcome those things. And that also gives them permission to be able to go forward too, because they can see it and they know that they can be it as well.
Well, I've had the honor of teaching with you, so I see how inspired people are as they hear your story and they hear how the tools that we teach in Leap to Confidence, like what a difference they make because they see it in you. So Ruth, what has it meant to you to be an instructor for Leap to Confidence?
Mm. I think it's been the biggest joy of my life. It is actually my purpose.
Mm,
Um, and each class, I see myself in the beginning, that broken, lost person. And that gives me more motivation and determination to give the tools, because I know what those tools did for me. And so I take a different twist to it to make it more relatable to the ladies. so that they know that these tools work. And I tell them it worked. Let me tell you, when I did this, it did this for me. And it also helps motivate them. And you can see it in their face, and they're more apt to embrace the information and the tools to be able to move forward. And then, of course, at graduation, I see myself again as that wonderful person that is no longer bound by my tragedies of before, that I've taken ownership of my life, and it is mine, and watch me grow and flow.
Yeah, speaking of, we've been looking at this affirmation, I can learn and grow, and like really knowing that, because we know when we're stuck, we're not sure, right? When we're in really challenging situations, sometimes we think like, will life ever be different? So each time a woman comes into our Leap to Confidence class, I'm like, oh, they already have this openness to learning and growing and really developing a growth mindset. And I find, and I don't know if this has been part of your resilience building, but a growth mindset for me has been so important. So when I face another challenge, I look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow versus look at it as that there's something wrong with me. Like that
Yes.
really shifted. Do you relate to that at all?
Yes, and I found that it was a time that I could take control. Might need to modify, and I can grow with each and every challenge that I'm faced.
Mhm. Yeah, it's amazing. Our program's called Leap to Confidence, and we define confidence as a belief in your own capabilities. And isn't that really what happens when you are resilient? When you're resilient, then you believe in your own capabilities. So something comes up, and we don't automatically think the worst, because we think, okay, what do I need to problem solve here? Or what's this new way I can look at something? Or what choice do I have here? Right? I mean,
Right.
indeed, there's lots of things where we don't have choice, which is why things that happen to us, we don't have choice, but how we respond, we
I do
do.
it.
And so, is there anything you say to folks when they're feeling like they don't have choice that really helps them shift that, since that's been such a key part of your resilience? If there was somebody watching this webinar who thought, I don't have choice, Ruth, what would you say? Like, is there something that would be part of your inspiring story that would help them?
Um, that life is about choices.
Hmm.
That's what life is. It's just numerous and numerous of choices, and you have to make them. Even not making it a choice is a choice.
Yeah.
So, do you want to choose stay where you are?
Mhm.
How comfortable is that?
Mhm.
Or you can choose something different, and don't be afraid to ask for help to find out what different is, because sometimes we're in that kind of stuck spot. So for me, I was able to ask for help, and help came through Leap. I was directed to Leap, and that was the help for me. And so being able to regain choice and realizing that
Mhm.
was the most powerful thing for me, and the most empowering
Mm.
thing for me, that I do have choice, and I do use it regularly. I exercise my right to choose.
Well, and I love the fact that when we teach this lesson because it's part of our program, of course, that we say switch the language that you say. When you say, I have to do something which is heavy and overwhelming and feels like it's somebody's pushing it on us, to say, I choose, and just notice how it feels. Like, does it feel more empowering? Does it give you another perspective? And to me, that's just like such a core principle of building resilience, that I love that you highlighted that. Um, Ruth, what has your own resilience taught you?
That I'm stronger than I thought I was. Um, that I am creative
Mm.
and imaginative. um, that I'm going to have another challenge come my way. So just get prepared. And as I complete each challenge, I look back and what did it take for me to come out of that? And I start owning those qualities. Well, I needed strength to go through. I needed courage. I need all those things. I make list them and I start owning those. And
Oh,
that,
I love that. I love that. So through that process, you acknowledge yourself and you probably more easily build on those skills because you're claiming them. You're like, oh yeah, courage. Oh, okay. I got this
I
courage.
got that. I got that. I got that.
Well, I wanted to know from those that are participating in this webinar today, what, oops, I think I shared what was the most important thing to identify your strength. That is not what I wanted to share. Instead, I wanted to share what has your resilience taught you? We would love to hear from you about what has your resilience taught you, because we know that there's so much wisdom. That's what I love about the work that we get to do, Ruth. There's so much wisdom in the room. There's
Yes.
so much that experience of resilience, of overcoming, of thriving, that we are really blessed all the time to be able to witness, right, and be a part of and be inspired by.
Yes.
Shared that resilience has taught them that everything changes, and this will too. I have learned to trust what I can and that I will be able to get through whatever the challenge is and to ask for help when needed. Someone else shared that it's okay not to be okay and then to reach out for help when I need it. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for naming that, for sure. Another person shared that I'm stronger than I thought. Yeah. Resilience taught me that I'm strong, but sometimes being strong is asking for help.
Yes.
Another person shared, I believe that my resilience has taught me that life gets better. Don't give up, be persistent. That's what her resilience has taught her. Another person said, I'm not feeling resilient today, but the reality is often I lament that I am resilient even when I'm tired and wish I wasn't so resilient. So my resiliency teaches me that I cannot give
Yes.
up. Oh, that's awesome. I love that one. And someone else shared that they're still working to have resiliency. And I think if you are alive on this planet, you are resilient, whether you know you are or
They
not.
are not.
So it's plugging in those ways. Another person shared that I have life cycles and I can be prepared for them. Yeah, that's beautiful. Another person said that resilience has taught me that it's okay, that it will be okay. One step forward, two steps back, keep going forward. I love that. Thank you all so much for sharing. That's just beautiful. And I think it's a really beautiful conversation to keep having. Ruth, I look forward to keep having this conversation with you, to having it with the participants of all of our Leap to Success programs and graduates. And I think this would be a beautiful conversation to have with your friends and colleagues.
Yes.
What has your resilience taught you? All of us have had to cultivate way more resilience in the last year with everything that we've all been through. So thank you all so much for sharing that. I would love now to have you reflect. We've had a little bit of time together, and I would like to relaunch and have you share with us. Let's see. I would like to have you share with us what is your current level of stress? So I know that I am going to be able to get this poll to relaunch for us. Okay. All right, friends. So if you would be so kind as to reflect now. We've been together for 30 minutes. You've heard Ruth's inspiring message about resilience, and you shared really beautiful things that you've learned about your own resilience. So grateful for that. And so want to honor, we were on a continuum of 1 to 10. So really acknowledging, right, how varied things are. And it looks, for the most part, that things have come down a bit. It looks like 5 right now. is our most common, but again, it's really varied. It's so interesting just to see from week to week how people's stress is. And I'm really grateful for those of you that are at the lower numbers that you still join us and attend. So grateful. I'm gonna end the poll now, and grateful that you all shared. Looks like 5 is our greatest, but we are quite varied. So, I'm going to invite you just to reflect on your own. Like, what's different today? If your stress is higher, reflect on what's going on, and what choice that you could make. What's something nurturing and supportive that you could do for yourself? If your stress is less today, what are you doing that's really helping you out? It is so good to be together. We are so grateful. I want to share, as we close, Maya Angelou quote. She said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." So indeed, I hope that all of you have a beautiful rest of the week. We're actually not going to meet next week for our self-care. We're going to have a week off. So everyone take this time to do something nurturing and supportive for yourself. If you want another webinar, go back and look at our self-care library at leaptosuccess.org. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Take really good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for being here today, Ruth. So much love. Bye, friends.